They've scored at least 30 and have 0 turnovers in their first 3 games. They're only the second team in NFL history to start with that. Allen, his 11th consecutive divisional win at home since 2000. The only quarterbacks with longer streaks are Brady, Dak Prescott, Peyton Manning. And Allen, by the way, improves his career record against the Miami Dolphins to 13-2. Damien Woody with us in studio, as he is on Thursdays. First of all, this is a heck of an entertaining football game, was it not?
Absolutely. I mean, we had all these questions coming into the game about the turmoil in Miami. Was this team going to play for Mike McDaniel? Boy, did they come? They came to play. There was a lot of pride out there in this game. Everyone thought that Buffalo's going to run roughshod over them. Hell of a game by the Dolphins.
And we can get to that piece of it because this is the most bottom line league there is in American sports. You only get 17 chances, and they're 0-3. Buffalo, on the other hand, is 3-0. The highlights show the story. While Miami's battling, Buffalo's just got that one dude. And at the moment, we said at one point it's like the Matrix, right? When it slows down and he's just leaning back and grabbing. What do you see from Allen right now?
The game is so slow to him.
Yeah.
You know, nothing really phases him. Nothing bothers him. But the thing about this Buffalo Bills team, particularly on offense, is Josh Allen is like a great point guard. He gets everyone involved. Everyone is getting touches. You know, all their skill position players are getting touches. And when it's called upon for Josh Allen to throw on his cake, he will absolutely throw on his cake to ice the game. So this Bills team they're going to be hard out for anyone.
9 different Bills got receptions in this one. Cook continues to tote the rock very, very well. But it's interesting, like Dalton Kincaid will join us. He had the first touchdown that we saw. And I don't want to disparage the weapons that they have on offense in terms of pass catchers, but it feels like Allen could make anyone can elevate. Is that a fair way to put it? Much like Brady did for so many years with New England.
That's why he's a franchise quarterback. Sometimes we throw around that term so loosely, but there's only a few in this league that are true franchise quarterbacks that can elevate other guys around him. Josh Allen is one of those guys.
They didn't have Oliver and Milano tonight on defense, and perhaps that plays a little bit of a role in Miami's ability to move the football. But let's acknowledge what they did, because, look, I mean, the morning shows, I mean, they're taking shots, and I get it. Miami opened up the door. They didn't look good week 1. They at least were competitive week 2. But now tonight on the road against a team that, if you remember early last year on a Thursday night, same deal in Miami, and it ended, unfortunately, with Tua being injured. But they got mopped by Buffalo. But in this game, they battle. What did they show you?
Well, I mean, clearly they showed fight. You know, that's something that, you know, the first game of the season, they didn't show any fight. Obviously, the next game was a little better. But tonight on the road against a team that's just really dominated them, they really went toe-to-toe with the Buffalo Bills. Scott, I mean, they were over 50% on third down, and I did throw the X on Tua. Because literally, I said, right before he threw the interception, I said, Tua's playing a clean game. And then that was it.
Well, Bernard makes a great play.
Yes.
He's reading his eyes, and he jumps the route to, I believe it was Waddle. But you also mentioned just the movement that Tua was using his legs, and I think we all collectively hold our breath when he starts running. There was one scramble late in the first half where he's eyeballing Bosa, and I understand why. But that seemed like a part of the game that was benefited him as well.
I haven't seen Tua move around like that maybe his whole career. He was really running around, making plays with his leg. That was part of the reason why I thought he was playing so well in this game.
Welcome Dalton Kincaid back to the show. Dalton, hey, it's Scott Van Pelt. Thanks for taking a minute to be with us. We were just giving your opponents praise tonight because they battled. But the thing about your group at the moment is you've got Josh Allen and nobody else does. And let's start with him. What does that guy provide for you day in and day out, game in and game out?
He's just a spark, you know, each and every day. Practice, off day, whatever it may be, you know, he gets everybody going. And it's just, how can you not, you know, leave it all out there for a guy like that?
I get his approach, and he's the team leader, and it's very, I don't want to say ho-hum, but it's very matter-of-fact when you guys win games. It's like, this is what we do, on to the next. And I appreciate that because you all have bigger goals. But to start the way you have, Dalton, with 3 wins, 30 points or more in each one, and clean games without turnovers, how much is that the sweet spot? If you guys value the ball and score like that, I don't know if you're ever going to lose a game.
Yeah, we value the ball a lot, and, you know, we go as Josh goes, and he's been doing a great job of taking care of that thing. So We preach around the football, always being around the football. In case that ball does come out, we're there.
These Thursday night games, I marvel at that scene up there in Buffalo. There's nothing like it, the Mafia and this and that. I mean, good luck Friday. No one's coming to work. That's just what it is. But when you now have the ability to enjoy the weekend off, I know Thursday nights are tough, but to have the ability to rest and recover early on in the season and have your Thursday night behind you, I imagine that's a positive as well, yes?
Oh, absolutely. Being able to recover from this game, get the legs back, spend the weekend recovering, it's huge.
The defensive side of the football, I mentioned no Oliver, no Milano tonight, but Bernard makes that pick late, and it feels like whether it's next man up or whoever's here is going to be the guy to hold the rope. How much does that side of the football give you belief that this is a team, Dalton, that you know what you're going to do on offense, but that this is a complete team on both sides?
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of faith in all three phases of our team. Offense, defense, special teams included. And just a little tidbit I feel like I have to share. I was in prayer, during TB's pick, and all I heard was the crowd just go crazy. And it was just an out-of-body experience, being there. But, yeah, TB is a hell of a leader, a captain on this football team for a reason, and making a big play in that moment is huge.
Well, you were a spark as well. That first touchdown grab, part of a 5-catch, 66-yard night. Off to a really nice start yourself. Stay healthy. As I always say, that's the most important thing, Dalton. Until our paths cross again, man, stay well, all right?
Thank you, SVP.
Yeah, I thought I was in rhythm in timing of the play. Seen the flat defender go over the top of Jalen. Jalen's turning around. I think that was a really good play by the defender. And, had some color in my face trying to maneuver the throw as well. But 10 out of 10 times, if we're looking at that same thing, I think I'd still try to work that timing of hitting that spot. And I think the linebacker made a great play on that.
He did have big 9-6 rushing up the middle, and that forced a throw that was picked. Walker coming up the middle. Dolphins have now lost 8 consecutive games against teams who entered with winning records since McDaniel took over in 2022. They're 3-14 against winning teams, and against teams who are 500 or worse, they are 25-12, winning by a little bit more than 6 per game.
We're obviously doing our job, going 1-0 each week. Still a lot to learn from, a lot to grow, a lot of room for growth in this group. A lot of young guys, but guys are stepping up. There's been some guys down with injuries, and guys are stepping up and making some big-time plays for us, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Yeah, I mean, it's a close unit that's gelling together really well right now, and got to keep finding ways to win football games.
Damien Woody back to preview some of the games in Week 3. We got 2-0, 2-0, a rematch of a playoff game played. Won't be snowing on Sunday in Philly. Rams and Eagles. And maybe the genius of the Eagles is that they can win a game where you got Chris Jones barking at Jalen about you didn't have 100 yards. And he's like, yeah, we won the bleeping game.
Hey, check the scoreboard.
What's most impressed you about who Philadelphia has become?
They can play any style you want. They can go out there and do whatever they want on either side of the ball. They play really well defensively. If they need Jalen Hurts to go out there and pass and win a game, they can do that. And then obviously we know about the brilliance of Saquon Barkley running behind that offensive line. So, this is I've said it now. I think for a couple years now, Philadelphia, top to bottom, has the best roster in the National Football League, and they just keep finding ways to win football games.
As I said to Saquon when he joined me Sunday, he's an avid golfer. There's no pictures on the scorecard. Who cares how many yards you got? The only thing that matters is a number in the left-hand column. That's 2, and the number on the right is 0. They're playing this Rams team, though, that's got the old gray-bearded quarterback and a lot of young bulls on defense. Where do they fit in among the NFC teams that you really buy long-term?
Right up there, right up there. I picked the Rams, right at the beginning of the season to be one of the contenders with the Philadelphia Eagles because I thought they had the best. They have the best young front seven in the National Football League. They got some young bulls in on that defensive line. And then obviously we know about Matt Stafford, Puka Nacua. They added Devontae Adams, Kyron Williams in the backfield. This team is pretty loaded. And then obviously Sean McVay, the brilliant head coach, leading the charge. So this is going to be I can't wait to watch this one. It's going to be a big one.
I'm with you. I was having the conversation with Stanford Steve earlier this week, like what's the best game on the card? And that one right there, I think an argument could be made that 2 1-1 teams playing up in Baltimore on Monday night, Lions and Ravens, is right there. And we saw Detroit go to Lambeau and look a mess. And then we get a little more context on that a week ago Thursday with the way the Packers played against Washington. But then they go home and then they do what they do and they score 52. Which version of the Lions do you believe we will see more often over the course of the season, maybe beginning Monday night?
I tend to think the latter, the second game against the Chicago Bears. I think what the Lions did, they got back to who they were all of last year, where they had run the football, hard play action, where the play action marries a running game. And you saw Jared Goff just look so comfortable being able to hit chunk plays down the field. That's who the Lions are and what they want to be offensively. Now, it's going to be a big test going into Baltimore because we've seen this Baltimore team chew up a lot of really good teams over the years.
Including Detroit. A couple of years ago, it was 5-1 against 5-1, and it was 35-0 Ravens. Right. And, I mean, I'm not saying that's happening again, but that they managed to do that to a number of teams. Now, what Detroit did last week was drop a big number on Chicago. There's a fellow by the name of Chase, I believe his last name's Bandalik, I hope I'm saying that right, went on social media and said that he would run a mile for every point Chicago lost by. Now, there's people that have said things on social media. Florida State guy, you said you're going to eat poop. You didn't. Don't say stupid stuff. This man had to run 31 miles, and he did. 31, that's more than a marathon. I wouldn't run 31 miles for anything.
No,
but anyway, my question to you is this man going to have to be running again after Chicago plays Dallas in an early season game that feels like Chicago really needs to find something?
Well, I will say this. Looking at that Dallas defense like barbecue chicken, you got an opportunity. This could be a shootout, Scott. So, even if the Bears do lose, it will be a closer game because there's not much defense being played by either team.
I am interested in a more serious sort of element, and I asked your BC running mate from back in the day, Tim Hasselbeck, about this. Just what do you want to see from Caleb Williams? Like, it's early in this new marriage with the new head coach and the guy that came from Detroit and all this and that. What are you hoping to see that says, whether they win or lose, we're growing here as a professional quarterback?
I think there's been a lot of noise out of Chicago early, and I've always said, with Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson had to deconstruct him to build him back up. We saw all the spectacular plays that made him the number one overall pick out of USC. But the young man has to learn how to play quarterback. He has to learn how to play with timing and rhythm if you're going to be successful on this level. You're not playing Oregon State, Texas State. You're playing the big dogs. And so I just want to see improvement from week to week as far as how to play the quarterback position.
That's exactly what Tim said. Just play in structure, play on schedule, play on time. We'll see how things go against Dallas, who made Russell Wilson look like old Russ last week. Damien, as always, I appreciate your time. We'll talk again next week.
Absolutely.
All right.